Flirties. On the show today, we welcome Britt Frank. Britt is the author behind the powerful books, The Science of Stuck, and her newest release, Align Your Mind. She is a speaker, trauma specialist, and licensed neuropsychotherapist. Her work has been featured in NPR, Forbes, the New York Times, and Esquire, to name just a few. Damn, Britt, you've been busy. I could go on, but let's get going. Hello and welcome to the show.
Oh my God, I'm so happy to see you. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for being on Flirtations today. Yes, we had a meet cute moment earlier this year at Sabrina Zohar's anniversary party for her podcast, The Sabrina Zohar Show.
Shout out, Sabrina. We love you.
Shout out, Sabrina, bringing a Britt and a Benjamin together. And here we are today.
B&B, let's do it.
B&B. All right. My first question here, because we got to get to know you a little bit. So, licensed neuropsychotherapist, I'm curious to hear what that means and why you were interested in exploring that as a career.
The bio part of doing these always cracks me up because I'm like, if the bio was honest, it would be like everything you said was true, but it would be like, and she was a meth head and an absolute hot mess train wreck of a disaster masquerading as a human. That should be in there.
That's my second question. Don't jump ahead.
I'm jumping ahead. So, what is a neuropsychotherapist? This is actually horrifying to me to learn, and a lot of people don't know this, but you can become a psychotherapist. Like, listeners, your psychotherapist who's diagnosing you is not required to get any training in the brain at all. None. Like, it's not required in graduate school. It's not required in supervision. It's not a thing. That's like a doctor not having to study anatomy. It's bonkers bananas. So neuropsychotherapist means I'm trained in how your brain works, which you would think would be a given, and it's not.
Yes. Okay. There's also an element to neuropsychotherapy. It's the mind-body connection as well. So if you could share a little bit more about that, because I think sometimes like modalities focus only on the mind, our thoughts, maybe cognitive behavioral therapy, something like that. Or we focus more on somatic therapies, sort of feeling ourselves through our thoughts and feelings. But why is connecting the two so important?
Yeah, it's so real. Like, a cognitive behavioral therapist will never ask you, how's your shitting? Are you pooping every day? Is it like a good one? Is it the kind that makes you feel like you can take on the world? Because all your serotonin is made in your gut. So therapists that don't recognize that your poop matters, like poop health is mental health. And they don't teach that in grad school either. So everything in our mind is going to impact our bodies, our thinking, if we're on a negative thought loop, or if we're obsessing about someone, or we're ruminating, that's going to affect your meat suit that you walk around in.
Yes.
And how you treat your meat suit is going to affect your mood. You cannot just do one or the, I mean, therapists and practitioners don't have to be trained in everything, but it's really important to know it's not just one. You can't just meditate your way out of feeling like shit, and you can't just poop your way into a happy life. You've got to have all the things.
Got to have all the things. Yeah. And that was the missing piece for me for the longest time, was that connection, some gut health and some poop health as well. You're right. Poop health is mental health.
It really
Britt.
is. I know. God. There's the merch. We need t-shirts. Poop health is mental health.
God, new tagline for the Flirt Coach.
Hashtag.
Coming to a coffee mug near you, which unironically will also make you poop.
Exactly. That's so
coffee.
Funny. Let's do it. I'm in.
All right. Okay. So you alluded a few moments ago about meth. I'd love to hear about that part of your story. And my question here is also around change. And because I hear from the flirties a lot, and I feel like I've definitely been in this phase of my life feeling like it's too late to make a change. It could be with career. It could be something in your personal life. It could be relationships. Like, sometimes we get so stuck with what is familiar, just because what's familiar is predictable, but just because it's predictable doesn't mean it's safe, it's good for us, it's healthy. So speaking to change a little bit, yes.
You want me to do meth or change? Or how meth changes you?
You know what? Both.
Okay, so this whole idea that it's too late is not even science. It's what we know about the brain is the brain's not done ever. Like ever. Like, yes, generally speaking, the main structures are cooked around 28, but your brain's plastic. What does that mean? It means that as long as you have a pulse, you can change your brain. You can change how your brain organizes things. You can change how you respond to things. I was told I will never not be an addict. I was also told I will never not have borderline personality disorder. There's another hot take if you want to go there. I no longer have symptoms of either, and I no longer identify as either. It's like that
Wow.
was a thing. And if I don't take care of myself, I could easily go back down either path, or I guess
Wow.
that's kind of like a merging path.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a pulse, you can still change. And I personally use the I can't change, it's too late for me to change as a way to bypass my own bullshit, because I didn't want to change. Like, I can't
Right.
change is not the same as I don't want to change.
Right.
And it's important. If you don't want to change, that's fine. I'm not here to tell. Someone asked me once, like, what would you tell to someone who was just hell-bent on not changing? I would say, good luck. Like, I'm not here to convince you not to, or to do anything.
Right.
But if you have a brain, it can change, period. Meth, how did I get into smoking meth? Well, I did not become a therapist because I had a stellar upbringing and this wonderfully healthy, smooth transition into adulting. It was a hot mess. I loved drugs, and I especially loved speed, because that kept me moving a lot faster than my feelings and my reality and what was true for me, about my life, about everything else. So meth started as a party drug, and then very quickly descended into I'm doing it to cope with what's happening to me in my life.
Yeah.
It was not fun after a while.
Yeah. I can relate to a lot of that as well. Like, my history with mental health has always been with depression, anxiety as well, and ADHD, but it's always been depression. And I went through like that kind of like those series of diagnoses where, okay, Benjamin, like, you're depressed. And then, oh, now you have MDD, major depressive disorder. And then it became, oh, right, because nothing was working. You have TRDD, treatment resistant depression disorder. And they were like, right? I'm like, oh my God, this is chronic. I'm gonna be depressed for the rest of my life, in my early 20s. And it just became about, okay, well, how can I best manage my symptoms and just have, a somewhat normal life, kind of quote unquote normal, whatever that was going to be for me,
Hot take on treatment resist, and I'm not minimizing people's pain. Do whatever you need to do. Sometimes what we call treatment resistant depression is your therapist is an asshole. Sometimes it's no matter how much therapy you do, you're in an abusive environment, and your depression is supposed to be resistant to abuse and oppression. So sorry, we are so quick to blame the person suffering in the mental health world. It was the model I was trained in. It's like, here are your symptoms, here's your disorder. But what if your symptoms are actually trying to help you? What if they're trying to show you what's not working?
Yeah, like, that's what over time I learned. Like, it was like, these were my symptoms. Like, this, the way I was feeling was just trying to help me just realize who I wanted to be, my potential, the life I wanted to live. And I feel like, because I went from treatment to treatment, medication to medication. Like, I went all the way to even ketamine therapy. Like, the next step for me was going to be TMS, the magnets on the brain, right, for weeks and weeks at a time. And just nothing was working. And I felt like I was going from doctor to doctor, right, practitioner to practitioner. And back to drugs, though, I took to drugs because they gave me immediate relief. They made me feel better.
That's the thing people don't say about drugs, is they're bad. I'm not arguing a case for doing meth. I'm saying before they're bad, they feel good, and they make you feel good. And even when you feel bad, me feeling bad because I'm on drugs is a different bad than my actual bad. And I would rather, in that sense, I would have rather chosen to cause myself pain. It's a form of self-harm, really. So I'm going to harm myself to feel somewhat in control. And I feel you, because I did treatment to treatment to treatment. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? But I was almost 30 when I heard the word trauma. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, my drug of choice was always good old weed, right? Just the classic, easy breezy. Nothing too crazy. Although, over time, I'm not so, well, it's become very normal, but I'm not so sure like how fantastic chronic use of any drug truly is,
I would say to someone who's like, how much weed is enough? Or is like, I would say, all right, well, how is your relationship to your body, your fitness, your finances, your sex life, your friendships, your hobbies, and your work? And if all of those you're killing it on all fronts, have at it. Smoke all you want if that's working.
Yeah. True. Well, for me, it wasn't. Not the case. So, okay. So I want to hear a little bit more about, like, it's right here on the title of, or on the front of your book, Align Your Mind, Tame Your Inner Critic, and how we can just start to make peace with our minds. Right?
I know. It's like we talk about our mind like it's this evil demon that we have to battle every day. You know,
Yeah.
battle your thoughts and fight depression and kill your ego and banish your critic. Like, what the fuck is this language we are using?
Yeah.
And our brains are literal. So all of these war languagey things are telling us that your mind is your enemy. And every day you have to suit up and get ready to fight the thing that lives inside you. And then, of course, we're all going to feel like crap all of the time. What if we change? I mean, maybe the problem is that we look at our minds as our enemy versus something that has been on our side the whole time. And I'll give you a really easy example. If, like, in my office, I'm in my office right now. If a fire breaks out in my office and my smoke alarm starts screeching, and I've heard it, it's obnoxious and it is a loud smoke alarm. Yeah. You're not going to diagnose me with ringing loud sounds disorder. It's like the sound is not the problem. This very loud, screechy, annoying, kind of terrifying thing that happens, the alarm, is a signal saying, guess what? You have a problem. Okay. The check engine light on your car does not mean you have check engine light disorder. It's a signal. Depression, anxiety, panic, even things like I have OCD and ADHD and all kinds of neurodivergent quirkiness. None of those, yes, they're problematic because if I don't take care of them, my life doesn't work. Right. But they are all fire alarms. They are not, you don't go to war with your fire alarm. You say, thank you, alarm, for letting me know that the room is on fire. Yeah. And so it would be useful if we reframed even our scariest symptoms as messengers trying to alert us to a problem.
Okay. Now talking about like how our inner critic, some of those maybe self-sabotaging thoughts, even our symptoms, if we have a mental health diagnosis, let's say, how can we just start to make friends with those thoughts and use them to our advantage?
It's sort of like couples therapy on your own brain. Like I know you do, you're a relationship expert. Yeah. So with the inner critic, it's like, imagine being in a relationship that you can't leave, you can't get divorced, you can't move, you are stuck. This is the ultimate reality show. You are stuck with this part of you forever, as long as you're alive, that you have got to learn how to have a better relationship with. And leaving is not an option. Fighting it doesn't work. We know that. It's like, tell your inner critic to shut up and watch how pissed off it gets and how much louder it gets. What if we sat down for couples I don't do couples therapy because my nervous system can't handle two people plus all my multiple personalities. No. But I mean, the gist of it is in couples therapy, we assume no one's right. We assume no one's wrong. And we assume both people have a point and there's got to be a place that we can meet in the middle. It's the same exact process with your inner critic. You've got to talk to it and listen to it and figure out a way to understand that. I know it sucks. But what's the alternative? The alternative is to feel like you're at war every day.
Absolutely, because what you resist persists, right? Exactly. Pretty classic saying. So the more you resist your own thoughts, even if they're really uncomfortable, even if they're overwhelmingly negative, I mean, depressed for decades. And I still, it's still something I manage day to day. I have good days, I have bad days. But one thing that has helped me is a lot of what you're saying. And I'll cue this in yoga sometimes where it's like, just notice any thoughts that come up, notice how you feel, right? There's no right or wrong. There's no good or bad. Of course your mind is going to wander during yoga, even if you're lying there in Shavasana, or if you're in a warrior pose, in Tadasana, standing mountain pose, it doesn't matter. Your mind is always probably going to be active, but can you just notice those thoughts? Hello, thoughts. How you doing? Nice to meet you. Nice to see you here today, right? Welcome in. No criticism, no judgment, no story, no going down the rabbit hole. Take an inhale, notice, exhale, release, ground, let go, something. Maybe you inhale hope, happiness, gratitude, appreciation, exhale, anger, loss, grief, despair, whatever. So a few things that I cue in yoga, but have also really helped me. It's just about coming back to the present moment.
It's so true. And honestly, the movie Inside Out is the closest thing.
I love that movie.
It's so good. And it's based on a model of therapy that I'm trained in called Internal Family Systems, Dr. Richard Schwartz. What a great, that is the most accurate psychological depiction of the mind I've ever seen. And in the second one, if you've seen Inside Out 2, they introduce anxiety, right? Anxiety gets a big group hug at the end. Spoiler alert. And what if anger, jealousy, envy, like all of these characteristics about ourselves that if acted out become bad. But what if they're all little cartoon characters in our brain that it's like, oh, hi, jealousy. Thank you for pointing me towards something that I want.
Right.
Like, you don't get jealous of things you don't care about. You get jealous of things you want. That's information. So you could say, even beyond noticing, I'm noticing a part of me is feeling super jealous, especially, and I go through it too, especially if I'm like scrolling. Thank you, jealousy. This is important information because I can now take the things I'm seeing that are causing the jealousy and use that as information. What am I willing to do in my own life to get the things that I want?
Yeah. Wow. Perfect transition. Next topic on the agenda, IFS, Internal Family Systems Therapy, a big focus of your newest book, Align Your Mind. And I'd love to hear a little bit more about IFS and also parts work.
Yeah.
Yes, the parts.
Yay. All of the parts. And it's in our language. The question I get asked the most, I've done over 10,000 hours as a therapist, and everyone asks the same question. Why does part of me know what I need to do?
Part of me.
Quit the thing, start the thing, whatever. Part of me knows what to do, but other part of me is going and doing the exact opposite. I know this relationship is bad for me, but I'm answering the you up texts. I know that meth is bad, but I am lighting a freaking light bulb filled with meth in the bathroom. Like, we know what to do as far as the basics go. Why is part of me taking me in this other direction? That's parts work. Parts work is like, do you hear your language? Part of me knows go to the gym. Part of me is binge watching White Lotus. So who are these parts? And then who's the person observing the parts, right? This gets into like mindfulness meditation territory. There's the I that like observes the thoughts. I am not my thoughts. My thoughts are not me. I am the noticer, right? In IFS, they call it self with a capital S. And you are not just your parts. There is a self. And when the self is taking care of the parts, things tend to work a lot better. Internal family systems is one approach to parts work. There's lots. And then my book, because I love internal family systems, but my book isn't IFS exactly. It's a lot of IFS stuff. And then I just went rogue with it and put my Briticisms on it.
Okay. All right. I love it. Yeah. And get the book, y'all. Get the book. I have it right here. I'm looking at it, glancing down at it. It's fantastic. Check it out for your summer reading list or wherever you are in the world. Maybe it's your winter. It's your, who knows? There are lots of listeners in Australia.
Hello, Australia.
Hello, Australia. We love you. I've interviewed quite a few Australians on the show as well.
That's cool.
I know. Always interesting setting up those interviews. I'll be doing for me. It'll be like midnight East Coast, and it'll be like 9 a.m. for them. And I'm like, okay, here's some coffee at midnight.
It's so true.
But parts work. I shout out to my friend Jackie as well at the store, who I've become really close with. She is so into parts work, and
really?
I've been hyping up this interview for. I'm like, Jackie, guess who I'm interviewing? And she's like, when is it coming out? We're gonna have lunch right after this to debrief, but. Parts like because when you say the phrase like part of me knows, something I'm thinking about is intuition. So like how does intuition play into this?
Intuition is tricky, right? Because when we talk about trusting our gut or trusting our intuition, yes, but sometimes trauma makes your intuition say things like stay in this relationship or do the drugs or you can't listen to your gut if you're not pooping properly. Like gut feelings assume that your physiology is all aligned. But generally speaking, IFS would call the self, that thing in you that is your compass towards what's best for you, which is intuition, which is inner knowing, or if you're witchy woo, it's kind of like inner clairvoyance or claircognizance. So intuition is tricky though, because I followed my intuition, which would say buy things, eat things, smoke things, date things, you know, and it was not always good to follow the sparks, so to speak.
Right. I'm so glad you're saying this because it's, I mean, tried and true advice, right? Trust yourself, trust your gut, trust your intuition. But what if your intuition is not your intuition in a sense, or it's been almost hijacked by trauma, by some negative experiences, by, beliefs you've taken on from what other people have told you, maybe abusive or toxic relationships. So it's like, I'm feeling like a lot of what parts work in IFS therapy is starting to recognize the different parts of you, of course, but then getting also right to the core, to the truth of the self.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Which
Yes.
is why I don't like the term self-sabotage, which
Ah,
obviously I get. We all do
yeah,
things that annihilate our well-being.
yeah.
But to me, self-sabotage would better be called traumatized intuition.
Oh, oh my God. Reframe. I love that.
Hmm.
So, all right, I'm no longer saying self-sabotage. Well, I might from time to time, but traumatized intuition. I love that
Right?
much.
Because
Yeah, I love that
the
much better.
intention of self sabotage is never to hurt you. It's like, why
Right.
I want to, get really good about my money and save or know my credit score or whatever, but I
Mm,
keep spending on stuff. Okay, but that you're not sabotaging. It's just your intuition, your traumatized intuition is going, we don't want to change because all
right.
change to a human brain is bad because
Right.
science.
Yeah.
So, like, my traumatized intuition tells me don't get too big, don't speak up, don't succeed,
Yeah.
don't have a good relationship with your money. Oh my god, that would be terrible. No one will like you. So
Oh my
traumatized
God.
intuition is
That's so me.
self-sabotage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm working on the money blocks so hard.
It's so
Oh my
important.
God.
I'm still working on it. It's a whole thing.
It's yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot of self-belief stuff in there that's yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it. But I want to hear a little bit more about, yeah, maybe going back to your first book, The Science of Stuck, and how we can get stuck in these patterns of this traumatized right, intuitive sometimes, responses that aren't necessarily the best for us, but it's so hard to change.
So without victim blaming, and again, I've shared enough my personal history. Like I have a
Mm-hmm.
trauma history a mile long, a drug history, all kinds of shenanigans. So I would
Mm-hmm.
never victim blame. But the
Okay.
reality is, not always, but often when we say, I'm so stuck, it's because only part of you wants the healing. You have lots of
Oh.
other parts of you that have no interest in it because they're benefiting.
Right.
And someone said to me, like, I was in a domestically violent relationship and
Mm-hmm.
eating disorders and just a mess.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it wasn't my fault what was happening to me.
Right.
But a really, really awesome, kind therapist lovingly called me out and said,
Mm-hmm.
what are you getting out of this? It's not your fault. You don't deserve
Mm.
it, but you're getting something. And the answer was, well, if I'm with someone who's bad, that means I get to be good. And I was so invested in being
Wow.
good. Goodness can't exist without badness. If I'm a whole person, then I
Mm-hmm.
can hold my good, my bad, all of my stuff, and I can
Right.
be with someone that's a match. But if I
Mm.
have to be good, then that means I need to find someone who is bad to justify
Mm.
my own. Well, at least I'm not doing that.
Right. Mm.
So I didn't know this, it wasn't conscious,
Right.
but everything that we do has a benefit. It's not about blame or shame. It's like
Mm.
we got to uncover the benefit,
Wow.
otherwise you're going to stay stuck.
Oh, Britt.
I'm so sorry. That's kind of a
This
downer.
was, well, but it's an important realization. And so, for any, all the flirties listening, everyone listening around the world that is maybe coming to a realization around their own kind of quote unquote stuckness today, listening to this interview, they're picking up one or both of your books, or maybe they're in some level of healing, some level of noticing the self, developing some self awareness around their patterns and habits, like tying it to dating and relationships. Like we've been talking tangentially about dating and relationships, but of course, this applies if you're dating and in a relationship, which is most of us, even if you're single, because you have a relationship with yourself, of course. And one of the things I noticed was I was very much, I mean, people pleaser, yes, but the giver, the fixer, right? I derive so much of my purpose, my self-worth, so much of who I was, who I am, based on how much somebody needed me, right? And so how that would play out in dating was I would tend to just not even be vulnerable, but overshare immediately, make myself, sacrifice my life, my friends, everything, make myself 100% available, give all of me, just try and just show like, look, don't you see how much I like you? Don't you see how much I care about you? Don't you need me? And
So
it would
from
be someone like I move weeks, a month, right?
Can we
Yeah.
parts work play with that? What you
Oh
just shared?
gosh, let's do it,
I'm not
Britt.
going to
Let's do
therapize you. Don't worry.
we can do
All right,
it.
maybe a
Yes.
little. So the parts work framework, which I
Uh-huh.
love, it's not I'm a people pleaser. It's not I'm an oversharer. It's
Mm,
okay, you just said that there's a part of you who seeks
mm-hmm.
connection by pleasing. Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, hello, people pleasing Benjamin.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the party.
Hello.
how old is he? If you're going to actually talk to a people pleasing part of you, is he a
Mm,
kid? Is he a teenager? Is he
mm,
20? How old is the part of you that shows up in your dating?
mm.
Mine's
I'm
like
gonna,
8.
yeah, young. I'm gonna say somewhere between like 8 and 13, like kind of that late stage adolescence, but like before teenage years.
Which makes sense that they would do that because
Yeah,
kids can only do so much. They have no money or power. So people
yeah.
pleasing and dissociating and overgiving, all these are great childhood strategies.
Mm,
I'm not going to say to the 9-year-old version of you, you suck, you're disordered, here's your
mm,
problem. I'm going to
right.
say, buddy, what's going on for you?
Yeah,
This must have worked at some point. And
yeah.
then you build a relationship with that part of you so
Oh,
that
okay.
he can trust that you're going to take care of things. When people say, I
Um,
don't want to adults, to me, it's the opposite. It's my 9-year-old's parts have no
mm-hmm.
desire to run my life. Adulting is awesome. When there's an
Yes.
adult part of me or self on board,
Wow.
life works great. Adulting is not the problem.
Mm,
Little kid parts that are running around without a parents, which is
mm-hmm.
us,
Mm-hmm.
that's the problem. So your
Okay.
people pleasing part needs a lot of love and
Okay.
snacks and outings and friends and
Yeah.
safe places and soft things.
Connection,
Mm-hmm.
blankets,
Yeah.
soft things. I do love soft things quite a bit, to be honest. One of those like blanket collectors, like pillows.
Same, and weight blankets.
Uh-huh.
But it's true with depression too. If you were a client and you came in and you said, I have chronic depression, I would
Yeah.
say, all right, well, you've got a part of you that's shutting you down because
Mm,
depression is physiologically a shutdown.
yeah.
So I would say to that part, all right, hello, part of Benjamin who shuts him down.
Mm,
What was going on in your life that was necessary? And a lot
mm,
of times people will say, I don't know. And that's fair. And that's
mm-hmm.
why the somatic techniques and the breathing is good because you can't
Yeah.
really do parts work when your head's on fire.
Yeah.
But when you get to know all of your parts, and again, it's
Mm,
not about justifying behavior. I don't need to,
right.
if we were in a romantic relationship, I don't need to justify your parts. And I don't get to say to you, oh, I'm sorry, baby. I was a bitch because my 13-year-old part was activated and triggered. Like, no,
Yeah.
that's crap. But what
Yeah.
I can say is, you know what? I have a part of me that's having a feeling right now about this, and I'm going to go
Mm,
take care of her so I don't project it onto you. And then it's
mm,
my job to go take care of her, not yours.
mm. Yeah. That self-accountability and
Yeah.
taking responsibility for ourselves rather than like a theme I've been playing with in my content sometimes or lately has been that like we so much too often outsource to other people our safety, our validation, right? Fill in the blank here, and we just expect someone to be kind of this all-encompassing savior, in a sense, rescuer for the parts of us that we need to maybe tend to a little bit more with some softness and some love.
Self-parenting is it sucks, it's great, but there's an element to self-parenting where if you had a good childhood, first of all,
Mm.
kudos to you. I don't really know a ton of those people, but if you had a good childhood, your parents are going to die and it will be on you to self-parent. So once you
Mm.
grow, your
Mm-hmm.
parents, if you had good ones, can be in your life as
Yeah.
advisors, as people who love you and support you, but the parenting of your parts has to
Mm-hmm.
come on you.
On
So if you
you.
had good parents, it sucks because you have to leave that good parenting behind and do it
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
If you had a bad childhood or a less than ideal childhood, what sucks about self-parenting is you never get to experience what it's like to have someone else do it. Like,
Mm.
I will never know what it's like to be a 3-year-old person in the world having someone else make sure that I am safe.
Yeah.
I have to grieve that, but that doesn't mean I'm shit out of luck. So,
Yeah.
but self-parenting is not optional. If you're grown, you have to do it. And if you don't, life doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I want to stay here for a moment on parts work for, just another question here. Like I'm hearing, for me, like the people pleasing part, tying it to inside out, the anxious part. And so I imagining some of the flirties are thinking now, maybe about their avoidant part. And so like, what are some of the different parts we may have? I feel like I'm hearing inner child parts coming up here as well. So yeah, just some of the parts we may have.
Yeah, and this is why the attachment talk, which is great. I'm glad everyone's talking attachment.
Yeah, yeah.
But you don't actually have one attachment because
Okay.
you have so many parts.
Mm.
I will show up, generally speaking, as anxiously attached in romantic relationships. I will show up as avoidantly attached in friendships. I will show up as disorganized in other ones.
Okay.
And so it's not what's your attachment, it's assume you have all of them. Like, let's just assume that unless you have structural brain damage of some kind, you have a full set of characters, which means you have avoidant parts, you have anxious parts, you have disorganized parts, and you have secure parts. Let's just assume they're all there. Then it's, okay, which situations cause which parts to come out and play, right? Like, I actually did fine when I was in anonymous relationship land. Like, I did fine. No problem. I never got triggered if I didn't know the person's name when I would just go out and whatever. But intimacy. First I'm anxious, and then once it's a healthy relationship, I want to run for the hills, right? And then it's, why can't I tolerate healthiness? Oh my gosh, my first year being with my husband, I did so much therapy. I'm like, I'm having an allergic reaction to health because it's so unfamiliar. Like, all I want to do is run and get drunk and just disappear. Full set. And so which parts do we have? You have all of them. You have little kid parts, teenage, every age that you've ever been, you have parts that are like that. And someone said to me once, how am I supposed to figure all of that out? And it's sort of like your physical body. Like, I could not name every single cell, organ, and tissue in my body. If you showed me an anatomy map, I would fail that test. You don't need to know every single part of your body. I know my shoulder stuff because they've been injured. And so now that I've had a shoulder injury, I know I have a labrum and it's torn. But I didn't need to know that until I injured it. So with parts work, if something's not injured, you don't need to know about it. It'll just sort of do its thing in the backgrounds and it'll work. We need to know the parts that are in need of care.
Right. Okay. I'm imagining maybe your anxious part is like, but wait, I do need to know everything.
Yes. Right? Oh my gosh. I'm glad you said that, because people get so obsessed with the why, right? Why did they do that? And why did they say that? And I know you hear this all day long.
All the time.
But like, asking why someone did something is outsourcing your power.
100%.
Why they did it doesn't matter. Which part of you is showing up and taking it is the question. Which part of you goes, oh, they're doing a thing I don't like, and I'm going to sign up for another round of this. So which part of me is tolerating it is better than why are they doing it? But everyone, myself included, gets all hung up on the, but why? It's like, you don't need to know why to solve it.
This is helpful. This gives me another question to ask, because I've often said that why questions are, it's an effort in futility, because the answer to your why question is another why question. Like, you can ask why question after why question and never actually get to the answer you're looking for. So reframe those why questions as a, which part of me is coming up, which part of me needs some attention, or it could be, what is this experience trying to teach me, or what do I need in this moment? What do I actually think? Name the thought, identify the thought. What do I feel? Name that. Or maybe you're looking to take action. How can I maybe alleviate my anxiety? How can I find some resolution or clarity around this feeling, this thought, this situation, whatever is happening, versus asking yourselves why questions. You could do it forever, ad nauseum.
And what age range does why make you think of? Like, when you think
8 to 13.
It's a little kid question, right? And I used to do kids therapy. And, an 8-year-old would come into my office and say, why did my mom die? And it's like, they don't actually need to know. They're not asking, well, Jimmy, the cancer, which had been in remission, like, they don't give a shit why. When a little kid says, why did mom die? There's 2 things they need to know. 1, that it's not their fault. And 2, that, they don't like it. And as a therapist, I don't answer, why did mom die, with an answer. Even if I were to know, what I would say is, it sucks, and I know you don't like it, and it's not your fault. That's what we need to tell ourselves. Why didn't they text me back? Oh, part of me that really seeks connection and is feeling really rejected right now, who's very young, who's asking why. I know you don't like not being texted right now. It feels really bad to not be texted right now. Now, is it my fault? Sometimes. So that's worth a check. Like, is it me? Sometimes the problem is you. But it's really important to reframe why as I don't like, or how, or what, like you said. Because why, I don't know who said this, but it was so good. Why will get you deep, but it won't get you far.
Ooh, God, I love that one as well. Yeah, this is something my grandma always said. She goes, "The universe doesn't have the answers to why questions, Benjamin. Just stop."
Yes, and
And I was like, "But why? But why?"
although I became a therapist because I was upset. I'm like, surely if I study it and I become an expert in human
Mm-hmm.
behavior and I
Mm-hmm.
understand my entire job is answering the whys of behavior.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I've done this my whole career and it's not helpful. It's
Yeah.
not helpful.
All right. All right. I got a question here about like that experience. We've been talking about it, but like when our parts clash,
Mm-hmm.
or like how we can maybe identify when our anxious part and our people pleasing part is coming out. Oh, but then here's like the inner child. Like there's going to be some parallels and similarities, some overlap, but how we can start to separate, identify which parts of ourselves we should pay attention to, like, because I imagine sometimes the parts, like we saw this in Inside Out, right, they don't always get along.
Oh no. I mean, what we call mental health disorders, if you're putting it in parts language, is
Yeah.
often parts that are clashing with other parts, right?
Oh,
I want to
wow.
get up and take a walk and human, but my depressed part goes, no, 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 we gotta shut the system
Oof.
down. And now they're at odds. And I feel, quote, crazy. There's no
Yeah.
such thing as crazy. Crazy
Mm.
is just a judgment, but mental illness isn't crazy. And having parts that are freaking out doesn't
Mm.
make you crazy either. And it's
Mm-hmm.
sort of like if you were to walk into a house with 20 kids that you've never met and
Mm.
all of them were running around, and I said, all right, your time to take it. This is your job now. Off you go. What's the first thing you would do besides panic? It's like, first, you'd probably need to observe the situation. Like,
Yeah.
who am I dealing with here? Who
Yep.
is going to hurt themselves first? And that's what we do in therapy. We can't deal with all your parts at the same time. But if you have a part
Mm.
that's about to run off a cliff, we're going to do that first and make sure that you are in a non-lethal situation. And
Mm-hmm.
then we're going to work, and yes to medication, yes to yoga, yes to cold plunge, all of the things that are tools. I'm a
Yeah.
fan of. Do whatever works for you.
Yeah.
But with parts, first we solve for what's going to kill you, and then we can go down and get into the deeper levels. Like, what's the
Mm.
meaning of life is not the first question when you're one day sober off of meth. The
Mm.
first question when you're one day sober off of meth is, how do I not smoke meth today? And the
Mm.
meaning of life will have to wait for later.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. This is really helpful. Like just speaking about my own depression, like one of the things I realized, yes, some gut health, some pooping, like
All
actual,
comes out to poop.
but physical health was, Britt, it was so wildly important because like I presented, like I'd go to the doctor, right? My blood work was pretty good, right? I didn't have like anything abnormal or wrong. Like I've always looked pretty fit and healthy and more or less like been active. And so I wasn't like quote unquote unhealthy, but internally, yeah, there was some real stuff going on that I had to address. And like what I realized, and this was like the hardest part, was just so much about what was driving my depression was the part of me that just, I realized I had this potential. I realized I had this dream. I had this drive. I had this creative vision. I had things I wanted to do with my life that I wasn't doing. Right. And so right here we go with those conflicting parts. Well, Benjamin, right, you're not good enough. It's never going to work. And then the other part of me, do it, right? You can't, like, get up. You can do it just one day at a time. This comes from my friend Rita, who's been on Flirtations, right? Left foot, right foot, just keep marching. You don't have to solve the problems of the world tomorrow, next week, next month, but put one foot in front of the other, right? And so it was about trying to merge these conflicting parts and learning to love myself, believe in myself, which is still the work I'm doing. It's good Lord. I'm
I know.
exhausted sometimes.
It's so true. And then it's like, and protein and 8 hours of sleep, and good Lord.
Water, sunlight. There's not enough time of the day.
It's too much work.
It's
I
too
heard
much.
with depression, Jim Carrey of all people, who I actually love.
God,
I
yes.
love Jim Carrey. I love him so much.
Yes. Yes.
I heard him on a thing say about depression. And again, as a therapist, I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to co-sign on this.
Mm-hmm.
He said, depression is your body saying, fuck you. I don't want to play this character we've been playing anymore.
Yes.
It's a full system stop,
Yeah.
because what I want to do is do my normal. And
Mm-hmm.
depression is going to say, no, 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 no. And
Mm-hmm.
for you, the part of you that wants to go out and do the things,
Mm-hmm.
depression is going to say, well, if you go out and do things, you're going to turn right back into what we were. And we
Mm-hmm.
don't want to be this character.
Yeah.
So I love your friend Rita's left foot, right foot thing.
Yeah.
Is that because it's,
Yeah.
I call them micro yeses. Like,
Yes.
what do I care about? What am I passionate about is too big. Our
Yeah.
brains don't want to do that. Our brain
Yeah.
will say, fuck you. No. Micro yeses are steps that are so small, you would feel ridiculous if anyone saw you doing them. So, like, a micro yes for a fitness goal is not roll out your yoga mat and do 10 minutes of stuff. A
Mm-hmm.
micro yes for a fitness goal is get the yoga mat out of the basement and just bring it into your room. And that's it. That's all you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tomorrow, roll it out. And then maybe the next day you do something. But we
Definitely.
have to make the steps so small that our brains won't fight us and won't shut us down. And so when people are like, but it's not working. Well, then your steps aren't small enough.
Yeah.
A micro yes for procrastination might be literally you move your computer from the left side to the right side of your couch. And that's it. That's all you do. As long as you're doing something, you have now taken a step. Much better than no steps at all.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Shout out to Jim Carrey.
Yeah, I've never met him, but like,
I
he's
haven't
a
either,
great
but
spiritual teacher of.
he has, or
Yeah.
I mean, he is like later in life. A lot
Yeah.
of he doesn't really act or perform anymore. But I'm a kid of the '90s. Like I'm a millennial, so I grew up watching Jim Carrey movies. I mean, Ace Ventura, The Mask, all that good stuff, and hearing him, as he's really distanced himself from the spotlight of Hollywood later, I mean, say later in life, but at this point in his life, like talking about his mental health, his depression, it's honestly, it's really helped me.
He's the best. Jim Carrey is the best therapist I've had in the last couple of years. But it's helpful to reframe it and not just you're the problem. It's all you. You're broken. You're diseased, and nothing will ever change for you. And I take psych meds and I go to therapy. I'm not saying life is all sunshine and ponies and whatever, but I don't walk around hating myself. I don't wake up in the middle of the night thinking, why am I like this and what's wrong with me? I may be really uncomfortable because I don't like something that's happening. And I have imposter syndrome and anxiety and all the cringy feelings that humans get. But I don't live inside a mind that I think hates me anymore. It's like my mind really likes me, and it's my job to tolerate the discomfort of being human.
Right. And yeah, shout out to micro yeses, and tying that for a moment to micro flirting. This is what I say about flirting as well, like to the flirties that are very anxious, nervous, maybe on the more introverted side, right? Even social anxiety. I can never do this. I'm not good at it. They've been rejected. They feel like they're awkward. They're weird, right? I don't know what to say. How do I break the ice? How do I initiate the flirt? I mean, question after question, micro flirt.
What's a micro flirt? I love this.
Very simple example. You're out running errands, so you got to leave your house to micro flirt. We're doing this in person. Is the example. You're out running errands, and let's say, okay, if it's one of those electric doors, a revolving door, maybe not going to work as well. But open the door, hold the door, smile, nod, hello, hey. I love your shoes. Hope you have a great rest of your day.
Oh, that's
it.
genius. I love that. That's
low
so
stakes.
Good.
Yeah, you're not even asking a question. You're not necessarily inviting or engaging in a full-on conversation. You're not looking to express romantic interest. You're not only doing it with the person you think is hot or attractive. It's just about having that in the moment connection, that form of expression, just of interest, and smiling is one of the most powerful antidepressants in the world. Just making eye contact with somebody and smiling. Yes.
So micro yeses and micro flirts. I have no idea. So we are aligned very much in this is the stuff that works. It's not sexy, and no one is going to do like a big display on social media of their micro movements, but that is what works to get us from stuck to a life that we actually like.
Absolutely. Because I mean, I've done this, and I'm sure you have too, where it's like, if you try and take on the entirety of change overnight, right? It's like, let's say with our health, and now we're going to the gym all of a sudden, and we're doing the supplements, and we've got the gallon of water, and we're doing the electrolytes, and like we have this whole checklist of things to do. how can you not become overwhelmed and burnt out very quickly? It's why people don't stick to New Year's resolutions most of the time.
It's so true. And like, not even for just stopping bad habits, but when I
Yeah.
was writing my book, like my first book, my gosh, I was told, here's the microscopic percentage of people that get a publishing deal. And I had no celebrity connections and no, family members who worked in Hollywood or publishing. And it was a lot of being told no, or being ghosted, or being told outright, you suck and you could never be a writer. Sometimes my micro yes was literally like, oh my God, I don't want to pitch again because I don't want to be told you suck again. But sometimes it's just send one email. I mean, I would send my emails in batches of like 30.
Sure.
Sometimes it was draft the email. Sometimes it's like, I can't even send it, but I have to do something. So I'm just going to write it. And then tomorrow I'll click send and off it will go.
Absolutely.
And then eventually it only takes one yes. And that's true in relationships. And that's true with any goal that you want. It only takes one yes.
Oh my gosh, I love it. There you go. Your micro yeses, your micro flirts.
Yes.
Great. I'm gonna squeeze in 2 more questions here before we conclude. I want to ask you now about, as we're talking about parts work and change, and even like that feeling, that experience of being stuck. Like when we start to, and you talked about this a moment ago, it's like part of dating and relationships, and the experience of healing is when you do find that secure attachment, that secure, healthy relationship. All of a sudden that becomes uncomfortable. You're like, wait a second, I thought I was done. All my anxiety or my avoidant tendencies are coming back up. The parts of me that I thought I was done with, hello, here we are again. And so as we're going through these experiences, maybe we go back into that self-criticism. We even sometimes may go into that feeling of numbness where, wait, I'm doing these things. Why don't I feel better yet?
That's
why
so
isn't it working?
It's not working. One of the biggest myths that keeps us stuck when we're dating healthy people, when we're making the money, when we're actually getting what we want in any case, is this expectation that it's gonna feel good, right? I'm doing the good thing. Why doesn't it feel good? Well, it's like, tell someone who's never exercised a day in their life, who's had a steady diet of like cigarettes and fast food, feed that person a big bowl of raw broccoli and then take them on a 3-mile run. They're not going to be feeling good. They're going to be puking and shit. I mean, it's not going to be a pretty sight. We have to set the expectation that when your brain is used to one thing and you change it, even if it's a good change, it's going to feel bad before it feels good. Healthy relationships are going to feel like shit before they make you feel good. Healthy habits are going to make you feel cranky and edgy. It's like withdrawal off of a drug. It's the same thing. We have to withdraw off of toxic relationship patterns. We have to withdraw off of, eating for foods that don't make us feel good. We have to withdraw off of everything. So you will feel good eventually. But I hear it every day. Like, I'm doing the good things and I feel just as bad, if not worse. I'm like, what you tell yourself is, well, that checks out because that's how your brain brains. Before it feels good, it's going to feel real bad. Yeah.
All right. Last question here before we conclude, coming full circle here, just reading the title of your newest book, Align Your Mind, Tame Your Inner Critic, and Make Peace with Your Shadow Using the Power of Parts Work. I want to conclude here just with a final thought about that inner critic. And I'm curious, does our inner critic, does it exist and sort of grow with us throughout our lives? Do we form these inner critic thoughts early in our adolescence and our childhood? Yeah, just a little bit more about the inner critic.
Yeah. So the inner critic doesn't go away. No matter how,
darn it.
it's always there. It changes its tune.
Oh man,
I know. I like to think of the inner critic like a part of you that speaks a different language. So if you took me over to, I don't know, any country where I do not speak the language, someone might come at me and I think they're yelling at me, but really they're saying, "Hey, watch out! You're about to get hit by a bus." It's like we're not communicating because I think they're screaming at me and they're trying to help me. So we need to put Google Translate on the inner critic. And so I'll give you an example. So I do a lot of keynote speaking at conferences. Yes. I still, before I walk out on stage, have you're going to die. You're going to puke on yourself. You're going to pass out. You're going to have nothing of value to say. Okay. I hear that part, but I need to put the little translator software on it. What it's saying is, I don't want to die and people are scary. and it feels like we're about to get eaten by lions. Walking on a stage to a human brain is no different than walking in front of a pack of lions. So what I say to that part is, thank you so much for trying to help me. I got it from here. I don't argue with it. It's not saying anything that's untrue. It's scared of death. Social anxiety is not fear of people. It's fear of death. It's fear of the people killing you, right? Like public speaking is not fear of speaking. It's fear of death. So tell your inner critic, thank you so much for trying to help me. I hear you. I've got it from here. And then to nuance that, like, is there any truth in it? When I was first learning how to speak professionally, I didn't have a lot of skills. So when my inner critic would say, you suck at this, there was a little bit of truth in that. So I would say, you know what? Thank you, inner critic, for trying to keep me alive. There's a little bit of truth in what you're saying. So I'm going to go get a coach and I'm going to go learn stuff. Someone who's like, I suck at flirting. Great. There might be a little bit of truth in that. So they listen to your podcast and they work with you. We don't have to believe it all, but can we get the nugget of truth in it and then just decode it as thank you for trying to help me? If there's a nugget of truth, I'll look into that, but I've got it from here. Then your inner critic is like the person in the foreign country screaming at you because you're about to get hit by a bus. It's not an enemy you have to be afraid of.
That's really helpful, Britt. Thank you. Google translating our own inner critic, right? Hello, inner critic. Thank you so much. I see you. I notice you. I got this. Or if there's something I need to learn, I'm not going to judge myself for not knowing something I don't know or not being good at something I've never done before. Right?
Exactly. But I'm not going to argue with it. No, you're wrong. I'm awesome. If you're fighting with yourself, you're never going to win. So just thank your inner critic, grab the nugget of truth, and then move on.
This has been, I could talk to you all day. This has been absolutely fantastic. I want to send all the flirties your way, to your socials, to your website. If you're taking new clients, the books, Align Your Mind and the Science of Stuck, out now. I'll have those links below. But yes, where can they find you and follow you?
Yay, find me on Instagram where I have no boundaries and I am there all day at Britt Frank, or my website, brittfrank.com.
Amazing. I will have those links in the show notes below for this episode. Britt Frank, thank you so much for being on Flirtations today.
Thanks for having me.